In episode number 273 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we covered Tarantino's Star Trek.
We also have the petition for Snyder's full Justice League cut and how many signatures are on that bitch right now.
And our comic book highlight of the week is Batman Annual number 2.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and much, much more. I am the almighty Emperor Kelli.
And I am your fellow Atlantean, Daniel.
Just Daniel?
Yeah.
You could be like Aquaniel.
Aquaniel? That's the blaxploitation version of next year's Aquaman. Which would still sell, and I would still play that role.
Oh, man, I still haven't shown you the trailer to the gay porn Justice League. You just reminded me of it.
What is it called? There's always there's Lord of the G-string for Lord of the Rings.
No, it's just Justice League XXX or something like that.
Okay, well, it's just straightforward.
And it's great because Wonder Woman is a drag queen, so it's still a man. It's still gay porn.
All right.
And the Flash and Bruce are together somehow.
Look, these things are... I will write one of those, by the way. It'll
You
still
should.
be good. Someone will make edits where they cut out all the sex, and they'll just have the story's actually not bad. For a porn movie, it might be the best.
Well, see, my favorite part of the trailer was Batman's like, "Why are you interested in me? I have no superpowers." And the Flash goes, "Well, you can do anything you want." And I'm like, whoa!
Well, we started off super pervy.
Welcome to the show, first timers. And that's our show. I'm done. I dropped
Signing
the
off.
mic. I'm done.
For any, I'll let you recover here. For any new Brokettes joining the Broket Corps, welcome to the show. Every single week we cover comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. That is the news portion of the podcast. We head into our Patreon shoutouts of the week. These are the people that make the show possible. And then we end with a comic book or movie review, sometimes both, at the very end of the episode, which, as I mentioned this week, is Batman Annual number 2, already sold out, already out of print.
Before we jump into our news this week, though, we do want to give a shout out to some of our Brokettes who got the Broket Core shirts.
Yeah, we launched our TeePublic shop. If you go over to thereasonsimbroke.com, click up on the menu and click on merch, it will take you to the page where you have different options on our t-shirts. And the reason, I don't remember if we talked about it last week or if we had just launched it. We were talking about launching it and now it's actually up. But a lot of members from the Broket Corps came out, again, strong, just like for the 2017 nominations, and bought not one, sometimes two t-shirts of the new Broket Corps logo, of our new logo as well. And one thing I do want to say is with TeePublic, it'll tell me which shirt sold and it'll give me an email of a particular shirt that sold, but it won't tell me who bought it. So that's a little bit different than what we were using before. So if I didn't thank you, it's because we don't have the information. But a lot of you have already taken pictures of your shirts as they've come in this quick already. And that's how you definitely want to let us know. We'll retweet you. We'll thank you. And if not, thank you so much. If you don't want to tweet it out, that's fine. And you bought a shirt, thank you so much for buying a shirt. The earnings go right back into the podcast, into the costs. We're not breaking even on the show, so all of that goes right back into the show anyway. And that goes along with our Patreon backers as well. And the t-shirt shop is just another way to help promotion of the show, to get you guys some cool t-shirts, and for you guys to support the show too.
Definitely. So thank you guys so much for your continued support, for purchasing this merchandise that leads more people back into us, of course. And take a picture of the shirt, take a picture of you in the shirt at your Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, we already passed Thanksgiving. Your Christmas dinners with your family. That's your nice shirt.
Gift a t-shirt to someone for Christmas. Secret Santa.
There you go.
Be Secret Santa for as many people as you'd like, and then do a variety of t-shirts. And they come in different colors. When you go on the site and you see them in that default color, that's just because an image needs to be up. Once you go in the storefront, once you go in that page, you can choose from a number of colors, way more options than we had before. So definitely check it out. And you can click on the color and it'll automatically change it for you so you can see what it looks like.
There's a lot of different styles too. So we were going through the women's shirts, and there's like 7 different women's shirts that I could get. And I'm like, oh man, my pre-pregnancy body would have loved this. And my post-pregnancy body is like, what's that sweatshirt over there?
Is that baggy? I hope it's baggy.
Is that real? Large? Extra large? Okay.
But yeah, with the holidays coming up, we haven't even mentioned them.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Thanksgiving even, did we?
No, probably not. Because it was my first episode back. So we were real excited that I was the Thanksgiving. We were giving thanks for my return.
That's true. So with the holidays ramping up and we're getting closer to Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and just the end of the year, solstice. Whatever it is you celebrate or don't celebrate, solstice, it's been getting crazy. It always gets crazy around this time of year. Thankfully, this is going to be the first holiday season that you don't work in your particular line.
Yes, because I planned my pregnancy and took my maternity leave because I am an all-star. And I planned all that shit out. So I will be going back to work late January, again, because I planned all this out and I did not want to be working where I do over the holidays. It just gets very busy. It's crazy. And it wasn't fair to do to my family. So
for the comic shop that I work at, it's been a lot of, okay, now what do we need to restock that we don't want to be out of during the holiday season? For the 24th, a lot of people wait till the last fucking minute. So we want to make sure we have enough of anything. Pops, for example. Funko Pops are always huge every single year. They still haven't topped out. And I think they will soon. But for now, tons of earnings and profit.
Right.
So we are very well stocked on Pops. The PVC statues, I don't know if you've seen those, but they're like these little, well, they're not little, they're probably like 10-inch PVC figurines that are $50, but they look like real statues. And the trade-off is that they're actually made out of plastic, but they're detailed like the statues that you do see for $150. Awesome. So they're very affordable. They're the right price. They look good. And those things sell all fucking day. They don't break as easily as you would like something that's resin, because again, it is plastic. And that's another one. It's like the Old Man Logan sell really well. Ordered a ton of the Deadpools. Those are crazy, crazy successful. That's the best PVC statue. If you work at a comic shop or you go to your regular shop and they don't have that, do them a favor and tell them to carry that, because that's just, again, profit.
Right.
The Deadpool PVC statues. And just trying to prepare as best as I can for the holiday season. It's my first year at a smaller store, but I'm no less hungry for it. Like, I'm still like, let's sell all of this. Let's get you what you need. What do you need? You need some trades? I'll call someone. I'll call this other store, get you that thing. So this is when I thrive. Like, I love this stuff. And I worked at GameStop for over 8 years, where it's 4 times the busy that I'm going through now. So it's nothing for me. When I'm by myself at the store and it's busy, I'm like, let's fucking do this. Let's handle and hammer this out. So I always love this time of the season. I love Black Friday. Right in January and February is when things slow down, and it's kind of like, okay, it's a little weird. It's like restock, and that's usually a good time to take a vacation because it is a little bit slower. There's always a little bit of a dip. So that's kind of where I'm at. During this holiday season, I've got all my presents purchased except for my dad's, who finally told me what he wanted yesterday. And then mom still hasn't told me, so I'll probably ask her tonight. But my brother and sister got them covered. And then you and I'm still refreshing that Hot Topic page to try to get you the Batman sweatpants from Dragon Ball Z.
Want those.
So right now they're sold out of all but the small ones. So I'm just refreshing, like, come on, get some fucking restock Hot Topic. I don't know if they will. They probably won't.
They probably won't. Yeah, that's okay. We buy each other stuff all year.
One thing I learned today is that apparently UPS is having way more trouble this year than any other year in the past in keeping up with packages. Apparently this is the year in which the most people have ordered online for their holiday shopping. And that's something I heard from Black Friday shoppers too, is they didn't go to the actual stores for the experience. They're just like, I just did my shopping online. I didn't want to be out in the crowd. And some people still go to the Black Friday crowd. They love that stuff. They like the rush. They love the event. They love the experience. So because of that, though, UPS has been falling behind on their shipments. Right. They don't have enough drivers. They've been going back and forth on the warehouse on multiple shipments. If you ordered something through online stores, I'm going to go straight into Amazon because that's the place that a lot of people are getting their stuff at. You'll see packages sit on the warehouse and they'll be received, but they won't be out for delivery. And that's why. So if you see that, that's exactly what happened. I didn't do any of my holiday shopping online. I did it all at brick and mortar locations. That's why I'm not suffering with this problem now. I've got my stuff. They're ready. It's done. No hassle. And I supported local businesses.
Well, I actually ran into that. So I did order something online, but it's from Shutterfly. So I ordered ornaments for our families. For, Leo, you have the chingaderas, you call them.
They are chingaderas.
Whatever. we women, we love these. So all the moms got a little ornament with this little face saying, baby's first Christmas. Aw. So I ordered it and it shipped USPS. So the postal service, right? And it sat in our local post office. I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry.
The place with the mail.
The place that collects things. It sat in our local post office for 5 days before it got to us.
Now you know why.
And it just sat there. And I'm sitting here. I'm like, the fuck is taking so long? Like, it's right there. It's right. I could drive there and just say, hey, give me this. Just, So, yeah, it sat there for 5 days. So I definitely see that. But my dad we talked about it last year. My dad orders everything off of Amazon. That's where he gets all his gifts from. And that's just what he loves to do because they just send it to his house. He doesn't have to go out, deal with the traffic. I hate the traffic. I'm glad that I'm not working so I don't have to drive in this traffic. It makes me angry and stressed, and I can't deal with that.
You just got to go out at odd times on weird days. So Tuesdays or Mondays is when you want to go out and do your shopping. Go to your local businesses and just pick up the product and wrap it up in an hour.
And last year, yes, I could do that. This year, I have to say, when do I have childcare so that I can go out? Because he rides in the car pretty good, and he'll stay, like if I take him into a shop, he's pretty good also. But if he's awake, forget about it. He's hungry. He is just not going to cooperate. So I have to plan my times of day. And of course, when he takes his long nap, I want to bathe. Not one of those moms who goes days without bathing. Like, I need my shower.
One other PSA that I do want to give, because you're going to see a lot of comic shops on Twitter put this out, is, you've got your holiday shopping, but don't forget that your local comic shop that you have a subscription at is still paying for all the books that are coming in. So I know some people are like, well, I got to wait till the new year to pick up my stuff. It's like, okay, well, all that time in between, they're still paying for all the shipment to come in for all your books. So, try to put something aside and save for that as well. So that, even if you don't pick up everything, like, look, let me pick up some of the stuff that I've got on hold. And don't forget that, again, the comic shops are they're the lifeblood of the business for DC, Marvel, your favorite superhero characters. And that's what's going to push a lot of these stories and authors and artists forward. They're the ones who make the big names. And then, of course, you buying it at the shop tells them that you want more of it. So it's a big, nice, symbiotic relationship. Although is that a negative thing? Symbiotic? Not necessarily, right? It's beneficial.
Because you have those fish that, sit on sharks and
clean them off. Yeah. So there you go. There's a Pokemon like that.
Yes, there is. There's Pokemon like everything, please. Something that I'm reminded of, though, and this could pertain to what you're talking about with, making sure you have enough saved aside for your comic shop. Somebody I worked with once, what they did for the whole year is every time they shopped at Target or Walmart, one of those two, they purchased a gift card with whatever they were purchasing. So if they only had $5 extra to spend, they purchased a $5 one. If they had 20, they purchased a $20 one. And they saved those for the entire year and then used them to pay for their holiday gifts.
That's fucking genius.
Right. I thought
awesome.
so. Because then by the end of the year, you've got $500, $600, $700 saved up, and you really haven't felt it because you were purchasing it with the rest of your stuff. So if you find you get to the end of the holiday season or get to the holiday season every year and you don't have that money for your your comics, every time you go into the store, get a gift card. And then you'll have enough at the end of the year. Boom! Look at me.
Life hacks with Kelli.
Hashtag Kelli hacks.
So with that out of the way, let's head into our news for the week.
We're going to start out with some movie news. Pulp Fiction director Quentin Tarantino is in talks to write and direct a new Star Trek film, according to The Hollywood Reporter.
There was a quote from Tarantino in 2015, and he had an interview with Nerdist, and he said, quote, "You could take some of the classic Star Trek episodes and easily expand them to 90 minutes or more and really do some amazing, amazing stuff," end quote. So that could pertain to what ideas he does have for this feature film.
Deadline is also reporting that this will be the first rated R Star Trek film, although Paramount has not officially greenlit the project.
At this point, I will take whatever new ideas Paramount has in the Star Trek for the films, because the Abrams ones were not like your typical Star Trek, unfortunately. The Wrath of Khan, that is considered by many to be the best of the Star Trek films, could be taken as like a regular episode of Star Trek expanded into something else. There's a lot of thought, there's some action, there's a lot of planning, there's some betrayal, there's all kinds of stuff happening. It's like a Star Trek episode. But with the newer movies, it's been aimed at a younger audience, I think.
Yeah, I could see it.
It hasn't been as intellectual.
Chris Pine and a handsome Spock.
Tons of action, and the characters have been changed, and I get it's a different universe, but it doesn't feel like Star Trek. It feels more like Star Wars than it does feel like Star Trek, because it's more action based, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel like the television show, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that Tarantino's idea of, why don't we just make an episode, like a real episode of Star Trek, and make it into a 90-minute movie.
You know what they should do? The Inner Light.
So that everyone can cry throughout the world.
So we can all cry, yes. And it'll be great. And we'll all cry together, and that will create world unity.
The only thing is you can't really improve on perfection.
Well, I mean, they could bring Sir Patrick Stewart back. Old man Sir Patrick Stewart, he could still be the captain.
Do the Inner Light again. A lot of B-chants online have been assuming that Tarantino's going to make this into like this super sexed up. They're saying this is going to be Pulp Fiction in space. You're going to see Samuel L. Jackson dropping F-bombs. He's going to be a Klingon, and all this is going to happen. It's like,
why is he going to be a Klingon?
They take the things that. Yeah, you're right. That is subtly racist, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks.
That's what they're. I don't know. That's what people are saying.
Why couldn't he be like a Romulan?
I don't like the Romulans. He'd better.
Or like a Vulcan. Why isn't he a Borg?
People just associate older movies and they're like, oh, it's just going to be that again, but with Star Trek. It's like, that's not how these things work. Like, the guy can make more than Pulp Fiction. He's made, since Pulp Fiction, tons of different things that aren't like the biggest movie that he's known for. So it's just always funny to me that people immediately assume, just like when Heath Ledger was cast as Joker, oh, it's going to be a gay Joker. What are you talking about? Like, he doesn't just play gay characters.
That'd be kind of cool, though.
He could have been. You don't know.
He could have been. We
never saw him hitting on a woman or a man.
Or anybody, yeah. Gay Joker. Well, I am excited for this. Hopefully, like you said, it will stick with the feeling of the TV show that we used to have. Put a lot of thought behind it. Like you said, less action. So we'll see. And if it's R-rated, then maybe Samuel L. Jackson will be a whatever.
Whatever the least racist of the aliens is.
A human?
Why does he have to be an alien?
Right?
So here's someone who is actually against one of the upcoming movies. The original Crow director, Alex Proyas, is pleading against the upcoming remake of The Crow, starring Jason Momoa, who was actually my stand-in for next year's Aquaman. I
didn't even know that this was a thing.
It's been a thing for several years, and it's past studios. Like, all these rights have gone. They've tried to do it several times, and now Momoa has actually been taking selfies with the director, and it's like, okay, now I think it really is happening. It was just like 2 weeks ago. So
Alex Proyas posted via Facebook, quote, "The Crow would not be a movie worth remaking if it wasn't for Brandon Lee. If it wasn't for Brandon, you may never have heard of this poignant little underground comic. It's Brandon's movie. I believe it is a special case where Hollywood should just let it remain a testament to a man's immense talent and ultimate sacrifice, and not have others rewrite that story or add to it. I know sequels were made, and TV shows, and what have you, but the notion of rebooting this story and the original character, a character Brandon gave his life to, at too high a cost, seems wrong to me. Please let this remain Brandon's film." End quote.
No release date has been set yet for this remake, and the director will be Corin Hardy. What are your thoughts? Would the remake actually take away from the original movie from Alex?
I can see how he would feel that way, and you're probably better to speak on this than I am, because I know you really liked The Crow. I've seen it once, and it wasn't really for me. I don't remember a lot of it. It's probably been 10 years since I've seen that movie now.
It's pretty... I saw it in junior high school, and I was like, this is really fucking... Because I had never seen something quite like it, and it's very... It does look like a comic book. It's kind of like... It's more like Batman 1989 than it is any other movie, I would say. It's got that same look, that same feel, and it's rated R. I saw it again about 3 years ago, and yeah, it doesn't really hold up like I used to like it when I was younger, but I also have seen so many more movies since then, movies that have been way better than The Crow. But it had a special place in my like little film heart at that time. So, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying that you were better to comment on that than I am if it would pull away from it. I could, like I said, I could see how he would feel that way. But at the same time, this might also, especially with Momoa playing him, might also bring light back into that film and get people to enjoy it again. That's
true, because they'll want to see the original. People will know, if they didn't already, that, hey, this was actually a remake of this older film, and they'll go back and watch it, and that's more sales. And I'm sure Proyas is somehow connected to the sales on video for that original movie. So this is only good things for him. Like, it's exactly like when people say, this is ruining my childhood. It's like, no, your thing is still there. You still have your original, like Ghostbusters, for example, was the most recent thing. And there was always that online webcomic that made that joke of the guy's like, oh, it's ruining my childhood, these damn new Ghostbusters. And then he's like, I'm going to go watch the original. And then slowly the DVD case is disappearing. He's like, no, it's ruining it. Yeah. No, all his posters are disappearing.
At the end of the day, the people who value Brandon for what he did for The Crow are still going to be there. That's not going to change. And having this movie remade will either bring more people to that cause or it'll stay the same.
Exactly right.
Like, it's not really... I see how he feels that way, how he can feel that way, because for him it was very personal. He knew Brandon. For those of you who don't know, he passed away shortly after the filming?
No, during filming.
During filming.
They had to use a special cookie cutter effect to put his face on other scenes for a stand-in. They filmed it backwards. So they did the ending first, and then they filmed it up to the beginning of the movie. So the first... I used to know this, like, first 12 minutes or so of the movie were someone else or the cookie cutter effect. And they put him in shadow a lot for the other stand-in. And then from there, that's when you see the movies. And you see his acting get worse as the ending comes closer. Like, at the very beginning, he's, like, really into the character and into the role of Eric Draven. And then as the scenes continue, he's not as intense. And he's like, still finding his footing as you get near the end. So it's a little weird. But, yeah, you're right. He passed away. They were testing out the prop guns, and they were putting in, normally they use like a regular powder that gives you the bang, but there was a piece that got lodged in there, which then acted as a bullet for when they put in the gunpowder, and that's what ended up shooting Brandon Lee. And there's conspiracies of like, well, his dad might have been involved in the mafia because he also died under mysterious circumstances while filming a movie, so they're thinking that it might have passed down to Brandon Lee. And this was all because his dad was giving away secret martial arts moves and effects that weren't meant to be shown to everyone else. And he was using it in Hollywood and in movies and all these things, and they got upset. That's the rumor, and that's how he died. And that it continued with, and died with Brandon because I believe he had a daughter. So the Lee name didn't continue after that. So now that's what ended up happening with The Crow. But the one thing I do want to say, too, to kind of top this story off is that if the only way this is going to affect his original movie negatively is if Jason Momoa's performance is better than Brandon Lee's. If this ends up being a better received and better remembered and makes more money than the original, because then it's going to overshadow the original, and the remake is going to be remembered as the Crow film. So I can see maybe that's his real worry, that they can actually make something a little bit better than the original. Because if he's going to complain about them leaving the original alone, like that franchise has been bastardized throughout all of these years already with all of the sequels. The television show was okay, but that was also another guy that was playing the same character that Brandon Lee played. And that's what he said in the quote. Like, yeah, I know there's been others, but it's like, dude, this has been a franchise that's been dragged through the mud throughout the years many times with shitty actors, with good actors in a shitty movie, with good directors in a shitty movie, with bad actors, and it's just every way you can think of, it's been done to The Crow. So that is, I don't see how this could affect it again, unless this remake is way better than the original.
Right. I don't know. I can see how he has such an emotional attachment to this movie, to Brandon Lee and his character and his acting. And for him, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He might see it as, you have a parent that passes away and your parent gets remarried.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's probably the same kind of feeling that he's going through. And he's worried that it'll overshadow his work.
I hope it's good. That's the best thing I can say is I do hope it's an awesome movie.
Continuing on with some movie news, The Hollywood Reporter has released that Ryan Reynolds will be voicing Pikachu in the live-action Detective Pikachu film.
Holy fuck, did the internet get mad at this one.
I'm sure they did.
The movie is based on Japan's Great Detective Pikachu 3DS game. Never made it to North America. That may change with this live-action film. Why not? They'd be stupid not to bring it to the 3DS or the Switch or whatever they want to adapt it. But everyone was saying it was supposed to be Danny DeVito that voiced him. It's like, this is all an idea that you guys came up with. It's not like they were saying, I don't know, it's either DeVito or someone else. Like, this was never an official, they were actually looking into DeVito. That never happened. So
I still want to know, where they got Ryan Reynolds, of all people. Like, oh, he sounds like a Pikachu.
He's a good voice actor. Did you see Deadpool? Like, most of that shit is CG or a guy in a suit and he's just voicing over it.
Why couldn't we get Kevin Conroy? That'd be even better.
Oh, that would be fucking cool. I think they just wanted... Someone put out a meme, I'm sure, of Pikachu, and that became the thing.
Look at that Charizard over there.
Pikachu.
I love it. Make it happen. Hashtag Conroy for Pikachu. Hashtag Pika Conroy.
It's going to be fine, everyone. Ryan Reynolds is going to do a good job. Not a big deal. It's Pikachu. It could have been whoever. It could have been Tommy Wiseau. It would have made gangbusters. And it's going to make a shit ton of money at the box office.
You know what's going to not make a shit ton of money at the box office?
The Disaster Artist?
The Disaster Artist, but I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's where we're seeing it opening weekend. Because next week, those showtimes are going to be cut by 75%.
So Warner Brothers has released the first image of Brenton. Who names these children?
It's a fake name. It's a Hollywood name.
Brenton Thwaites?
It's probably Thwaites, but continue.
Okay, Brenton Thwaites as Robin in the streaming exclusive show Titan.
I shouldn't be telling you. That's clearly a white name. Brenton Thwaites. I'm like, I don't know. That's not Aztec at all.
Maybe it's Brenton Thwaites. Because it's white. Come on, just work with me.
Well, you explained it to me then. Now I know.
Brenton is a terrible name. There's a lot of names like that floating around now, though, that people are naming their kids. See, we picked Leo, Strong, and a Ninja Turtle.
And old. Super old school.
Yeah.
Gotta go with the classics.
Brenton and Aquaniel. What did I name you earlier?
Aquaniel, yeah.
Aquaniel.
So, Bobby at Cuban Slam was the first to be like, look, check this out. And he's especially excited because he's a huge fan of Dick Grayson. Loves Robin, loves Nightwing. This suit, though, is inspired by Tim Drake's design from the comics and not Dick Grayson's.
That's fine. I have no problem.
That's what I said, too. Like, anyone that was mad about that, it's like, so you want to see him in, bare man legs? You're a fan of little, shorts, little green underwear, and it's like...
It was a Speedo, a leotard, thank you.
It's like Tim Drake's design is probably...
It's pretty badass.
It's the second best Robin design right next to Damien's. Like, Damian Wayne has, the half League of Assassins and half Robin thing going on. And then Tim Drake has the R. It has exactly what you saw on there.
Yeah.
He's got the staff, which again is a Tim Drake thing and not a Dick Grayson thing, but they're going with the more aesthetically pleasing design.
You mean the hottest design?
I don't know. If Nightwing does have a great ass, like in the comics, maybe he should wear the fucking Speedos.
Well,
not hide it underneath a cape and pants.
But see, that just makes the scenes where you get to see his ass, more noteworthy.
More special?
Yeah, because if we're seeing it all the time, we're just like, there's his ass again.
They have to show his ass at least once every episode to keep the 1 million moms interested.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit that they'll watch, too.
Yeah. Yep. So, we have to watch this to see what's wrong with it. Just like Lucifer. I'm sure they're the ones keeping that alive.
Probably.
All 10,000 of the
Probably.
one. Me and the 1 million moms are the ones keeping Lucifer alive.
All 10,000 members of the 1 million moms group. That's always my favorite part of it. Is that irony? I don't know what you call that. Titans is currently set to release on WB's app sometime next year.
And I'm so excited we are getting this WB app. I've already decided. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to keep up with the, again, Bobby was showing us the screenshot, and also John at John72Text, they both sent us the screenshot of Constantine as a member of the Legends of Tomorrow.
Except I hate that show, but
2
whatever.
years ago, we talked, this is why it's good to listen to the podcast, because one, you'll have Arkham Knight spoiled for you by my fucking guesses. I'm like, that's fucking Jason Todd. And two years ago, we mentioned that one producer that was like, oh, and here, I'm going to bring up the third thing because they're about to fucking announce it. I'm guaranteeing you. Mm-hmm. And you guys got to remember where you heard it first. A couple years ago, there was that producer that said, well, and this is before Legends of Tomorrow came out, they're like, the plan is to add more members and add different members and have the team change throughout the seasons. And there's a new season, new members, new team maybe completely. We don't know, but that's the plan. So when there were rumors of Constantine going over the CW, we were like, put him on the fucking Legends of Tomorrow, make him a member of that shit. And it took a long time, and it finally got done, and there were hints of it, and then he was going to he appeared in Arrow, and then he was going to appear in 2 episodes of Legends, and now he's actually going to be a full team member of Legends of Tomorrow. So it's like, fuck yes. Even if they don't spin off, like I know some people are saying, they need to just give him his own show again and do a season 2. It's like, be happy he's anywhere at all.
Well, I mean, I'm happy, but we had a cliffhanger with season 1, and I have to know what happened.
Forget about that shit. Shit's gone.
Can we cross over Constantine and Lucifer?
We talked about that before. It can't happen because in the world of Lucifer, Supergirl is a TV show in that universe.
Damn it. Fine. Well, no, but as Lucifer, he can make anything happen. And it's Constantine. He can make anything happen, too. They can go into another universe and cross over.
That'd be the way to solve it.
That'd be great.
But yeah, so to round this up, so I've got several things. But we haven't even finished the story. But yeah, they immediately screenshotted that. So thank you again, Bobby and John. And
what was the third thing that they're about to announce that you called?
Well, Bobby was also saying, like, oh, check out the episode on CWC. I went on the PS4. Like, I was super grumpy last night because I'm like, fucking, I can't watch this goddamn episode. And I can't watch shows on my phone or on the computer. I have to watch it on the television.
Yes.
And it's part of, like, I guess almost when we go to the movie theater, I wouldn't watch a movie on my phone. I would have to watch it on a television or on the movie. I want to see the presentation done proper, you know? So same with the TV show. Like, I know I can watch it on my phone, but what are we going to do? Crowd around the screen or crowd around the computer screen? And I don't want to do that.
I could be snuggly with you.
But that's not the way to enjoy it. You know, we want to sit on the couch.
I don't want to do that, Kelly. We procreated.
Do
We're
something.
Fine.
Do something right. So that's why I'm like an asshole and all grumpy and waiting. I'll wait a fucking year until it goes on Netflix, or in this case, when it goes on the WB app. That's when we'll be able to catch up on Legends, The Flash, Supergirl, all of that stuff. And then whatever original content, like the Harley Quinn animated show, Titans, which is releasing.
Titans.
So that's when we'll finally see more Constantine. And we'll fast forward through every non-Constantine scene because...
That's what we should have done with Arrow.
Let's face it, these CW shows are not the greatest. So, but you know what? They're keeping the characters alive for a lot of people, so good for them. The other thing, too, the third item was people forgot, and they're going to announce it, that Rocksteady was... It was either Rocksteady or WB Montreal. We're working on a Suicide Squad game in the style of Arkham Knight and Arkham City.
I remember that.
And that was when Jeff Johns talked about it. He said, yeah, we're going to do a Suicide Squad video game and we'll announce it soon. And that was 3 years ago or something like that. So we're probably going to see. And now they're saying Rocksteady's actually working on a Batman style game that they're going to announce very soon. And I'm like, that's the fucking Suicide game. They're going to fucking say it. And I don't know if anyone's going to remember when we talked about it, but now we're reminding you.
I'm glad you remember these things. I love how you can remember these things, but not like everyday life things.
It's really weird, yeah.
Like groceries or conversations we've had with people or people that you've met.
Or who's to say that there aren't already things I don't remember in this world, but I'm just like, if I can remember any of it, great. And I'll bring it right back up.
Okay.
We do have some reactions on the new Robin suit for Titans, which does look near perfect.
First one comes from, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, Twitter at Kyle Inge, who says, quote, I think it's badass. I haven't read much Tim Drake outside of major events before the current Rebirth Detective Comics run, but he's probably my favorite take on the Robin character because it allows him to maintain the costume into adulthood without looking ridiculous, end quote. Very true.
Absolutely right.
Like I said, the hottest Robin outfit.
Yeah. I mean, Chris O'Donnell's a close one.
No, because he's got nipples in his suit.
Well,
I'm talking about the outfit.
Well, let's actually jump right into that. At Swordfish Show, Mr. Porper Swordfish, he does a ton of YouTube Let's Plays, said, quote, hashtag not my Robin. It's either Burt Ward style or Chris O'Donnell if we're desperate. End quote.
Why do you want nipple suits? Nobody
it's
wants,
the funniest.
Nobody wants to see man nipples.
Look, I don't care what they put Robin in. It's not like it's Batman. Oh, yeah, do the nipple thing, do the green underwear thing, do whatever. It's not one of my favorite characters. Doesn't matter.
Oh, all right.
Could not care less.
Sure. And the last one comes from at Kinky Comic Girl, who says, I want to see the Nightwing look.
And we will.
I'm sure we will.
I think it's just going to be in the first couple of episodes, or maybe they'll end the whole season on, just like in the comic, he comes out in his disco Nightwing suit, like, hey guys, I'm Nightwing now. It's like, no, Robin, get the fuck out of that suit. We need to do some shit, all right? Quit goofing off. Christ.
As long as we get some good Robin and Starfire love, I don't care. Whatever.
Look, there's no time for you to change. Let's just go. Just bring that goofy shit and let's go.
God, put on your cape. Put something over that. Drawing attention to yourself.
So thank you so much for chiming in on the story for the new Robin suit for Titans. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke so that you too can comment and possibly be featured on the show. Continuing with the news, over to the DCEU.
According to Justice League cinematographer Fabian Wagner, scenes were shot with Superman in the infamous black Superman suit.
When Joe Whedon was brought on board, the scenes were rewritten and reshot with the classic red and blue suit.
I think you didn't say that correctly. When Joe Whedon was brought on board, he fucked everything up.
Along with the studio, absolutely right. Now they said it was too dark and too depressing, just like BVS and Man of Steel. And because of audience reactions, we got the shit that is Justice League.
So we do have a quote from Wagner that says, quote, it's a cool looking costume. Sadly, we didn't see that either in the final cut. Zack takes his time with telling the stories, and I've always liked that about his movies. There were a few scenes that I was very much looking forward to seeing, which unfortunately got cut. End quote.
Some people might say, that's a fucking spoiler to Justice League. It's like, Superman was coming back in this. Like, this isn't even a thing of, oh, will he come back? Will he not come back? They were obviously going to put Superman in the goddamn Justice League movie. And without spoiling how it happens, what happens, because I know some of you out there still haven't seen Justice League, the one way people were saying, like, okay, so his suit got damaged at the end of Batman v Superman with Doomsday, stabbing him through the chest. So it's like, who repaired his suit? Was it Alfred, or did he have an extra? Like, how did this work in the Justice League movie? And then another person brought up on Twitter too, it's like, yeah, but where did he get the black suit then if they did a black suit version in the movie? And people were speculating that if he was brought back by, say, the villain in the movie, that it could have, done symbolically corrupted him and so changed his suit due to technology that they used from Apocalypse, whatever it may be, to change the color of it. Or my thought was, well, in Man of Steel, in the Kryptonian ship, you remember his dad, Jor-El, had the black suit that very much looked like what the Resurrection of Superman, the Return of Superman had in the comics. It wasn't as silver on the emblem, but it's close. That's it. That would have been it. And I was thinking, like, I know it was a hologram and it didn't really, you never saw him in person, but what if he had a suit in the ship that used to belong to his dad, and that's what he suits up in? It would have fit the comic Return. It would have been nice in the movie, and it would have been another nod to DC fans. But I think the general audience would have been like, oh, great, look, they removed all the color from Superman now. So it's like,
this movie
you
has
fuckers.
no color.
It's like, watch Man of Steel again, you asshole. It's not devoid of color. And the YouTube channel that did that original shit was called out, and they had to delete their channel because they were like, oh, yeah, we're fucking liars.
I feel like Joseph Whedon has no idea about comics. Like, he's never read any of this. He has no appreciation for it. He just wants to make silly movies.
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but it's not at the level of Zack Snyder. Like, Zack Snyder put these panels and brought them to life.
I feel like Joey Whedon is what's his name? He had the boa in that one episode. driving up walls.
I know exactly. Batman and Robin, we're just talking about him. God damn it, what's his name if you hadn't told me? He's actually made good movies. Like Batman and
Shut
Robin
up,
has
Joel.
been his...
Joel.
Yes, Joel...
Schumacher?
Yes, you got
it. Yeah. I just remember that episode. Shut up, Joel. I hear he drives up walls.
I don't know who's worse. Joe Whedon's worse because he's done Batman and Robin times like 3 or 4.
At least people still liked Batman and Robin.
Ish. I don't know about that. I'd rather watch Batman and Robin than the Avengers. Okay, I'd rather watch Batman and Robin than Age of Ultron. I'm very much considering maybe Batman and Robin over Justice League. I have no idea.
Whoa.
Like, I'd have to really mull this over because Justice League was really bad. It wasn't Avengers bad, but it wasn't good.
You would pick driving up walls in the Batmobile over Justice League.
Over jokey fucking Batman. And I know Batman and Robin was jokey fucking Batman, but that was trying to be Batman 66. Justice League was trying to be, oh fuck, let's scramble and try to just rebuild this. Joe Whedon, do more jokes, rewrite this shit. It's a mess. At least Joel Schumacher had a vision. And you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was amazing.
He was pretty great.
If they wanted to recast him, I'd be like, you know what? Let him do it again. He was the best part of that movie.
Can he be in Justice League 2?
Absolutely. Yes. Put him in there.
Nice to meet you. Mr. Freeze, you're like a billion years old now.
I'd watch a solo Mr. Freeze film directed by Joe Whedon because he could save the movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself could save the fucking movie, even if it were directed by Joey Whedon.
So can it be Arnold Schwarzenegger being Mr. Freeze, directed by Joey Whedon, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger comes in and kills Joey Whedon to save the movie?
What, are the characters in the movie too?
Yes, because you said that Arnold Schwarzenegger would save the movie.
Yes, make that a fucking plot point.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that'd be great. That'd be a studio art house film right there. I'll take it. Way to improve that idea.
Can we have Tommy Wiseau play Joey Whedon?
He can play whoever he wants, except for Mr. Freeze.
All right.
So continuing with the DCEU, following a massive fan petition to Warner Brothers to release Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, which is at the time of this recording at over 154,000 signatures, a counter petition has been launched asking for a cut with more Joey Whedon scenes.
This just in, Joey Whedon was the one who began that petition. The petition reads, quote, "Everyone who saw Justice League can attest to the sheer genius that is Josh Whedon." I can't even read this.
It's like a fucking parody. Yeah. It's gotta be a joke.
I'm gonna pretend it's a joke and just read this. Okay. Quote, "Everyone who saw Justice League can attest to the sheer genius that Josh Whedon brought to this movie. If he had been allowed to bring his entire vision to the screen, the movie would have been that much better. Examples of his touches include Booyah, as uttered by Cyborg, and the now classic line, 'My man,' that has now become the battle cry by fishermen the world over after... have they spoken to all of it? I'm sorry. Okay. After Aquaman showed he could speak to fish and quip at the same time. Let's make it happen. Join me, and together we can see the rest of the mustachioed footage."
Because of Superman and his mustache.
Okay, whatever. "Left on the cutting room floor," end quote.
It's a joke. It
has to be a joke. What fishermen are they speaking to?
They're kind of clever. Like, I like that little synopsis because they're trolling. As of the show notes, the petition only has 358 signatures.
Because nobody wants to see this. And you know who those 358 signatures are? They're Joey Whedon's friends.
Probably. They couldn't read into the ridiculous fucking tone of this petition. So someone listened to this petition, or it's just a coincidence, or this is all a fucking joke. Following the fan petition that was given to Warner Brothers to release Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, they have actually recently announced that there is going to be an extended cut on the home video release of Justice League, but it's not going to be Zack Snyder's cut. It's actually going to be the rest of Joey Whedon's footage because his version also got cut down. So it's almost as if Warner Brothers is trolling all of the DC fans by saying, "Oh, you guys wanted an extended cut? We'll give you Joe Whedon's cut, right? That's what you wanted, not Zack Snyder's?" It's like, fuck, man. God damn it. And if this is true, it's because it would dynamically change the outcome of what Justice League originally was, with the black suit Superman, with the dark side scenes, with Robin Wright scenes in the flashback, with fucking it was Zeus himself having some dialogue along with Ares, and all of that would change the actual ending of the movie. So it would be a different movie altogether, which again might embarrass what they fucking released, and it would embarrass what they released in theaters.
You know what the ultimate gotcha would be from all this?
What's that?
So they released this Joey Whedon version, right?
Okay.
Extended cut with the DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, and we all buy it. And we all say, this sucks, but we're supporting DC. We got the movie. Cool. And then a couple months later, they go, now here's the Snyder version. Buy it again, bitches. And you know what? We would buy it.
That's how you make the fucking money back. Yeah. The only thing is, a lot of, including myself, I would not buy the extended Joey Whedon. I'm not going to buy this movie, regardless, even if it doesn't have the extended Joey Whedon cut. I don't want to own the movie version of that.
Snyder cut.
You give me the Snyder cut, I will buy that. So, but the thing is, most fans are in that same camp. So we would not buy the regular release, but when they do the Zack Snyder thing, they will have sold one copy of the movie to us, so they wouldn't have done it twice.
But then there's still some people who are going to buy it twice.
I'm going to be nice. You're right, there are some people.
Thank you.
Some people.
Thank you.
We can call them that. That will buy this on Blu-ray.
You know what? Whatever. We'll see. Hopefully they won't come out with a Snyder cut, but I wish they would.
So, Kelly, some things had to change due to the domestic performance of Justice League, and I will still stand by the performance of Justice League. As much as I don't like the movie, I will still say, look, it broke records in China. It did well worldwide. It's going to make its money back. It's not a flop as people are trying to make it out to be, because that gets them the most clicks on the...
A train wreck.
Right? It's like, what are you talking about? This movie made a shit ton of money.
Have they ever seen a train wreck? Do they understand what that is?
Right, exactly. But because of this, because of the domestic performance, and people expect changes moving forward, John Berg, who was the head of DC Films, along with Jeff Johns, they shared that role, will be stepping down and taking on a producer role for Warner Brothers following, once again, the earnings in North America.
And while Jeff Johns will retain his role, the Variety report claims that his position will be lessened to advisory.
So he got the fucking axe too. Because this was supposed to be, I believe this and Wonder Woman were supposed to be like, okay, now Jeff Johns is working in the studio. Suicide Squad wasn't. That was finished. But these were the two movies that were like, okay, let's see what influence you can have on the universe.
Well, right. And he probably had that influence, and then they brought in Joey Whedon.
That's fucking Joey Whedon's the one to blame. Get him off Batgirl. There was a fake article that came out that said he's off Batgirl. I was like, fucking yes, thank you. I can finally see Batgirl.
Fake news.
It ended up being fake news. I'm like, fucking Trump was right.
It is out there.
There is fake news. Warner Brothers Picture Group president Toby Emmerich is also considering folding back the DC movies with the main Warner Brothers film wing and not having it as its own division.
That's fucking silly.
You think he's going too far with that?
Yes! Just stop being a woman, calm down. Was that wrong of me to say?
He's got to show his dick to his bosses. Like, look what I'm doing to change things. That's what he's doing. He's got to do something too, you know? He can't just be John Berg.
Well...
He's got to justify his position. Like, what changes are you making?
I get that, but it's silly. They all just need to calm down and relax for a hot second. It still made a lot of money.
Exactly.
The movie still made a lot of money. If you really sit there and maybe talk to people and ask them what they didn't like about the movie, I think it would come out as a whole and consensus that we didn't like what Joey Whedon did. Which
was in response to what everyone else didn't like in BVS and Man of Steel. So They need to just stop listening to everyone, including us. Stop listening and just make the fucking movies.
No, they can listen to us. You and me. The Reasons I Broke podcast is the only thing they can listen to.
But don't forget, we liked BVS.
Yes.
And most people did not. And that's not what they want.
And I like Suicide Squad. I found out a lot of people didn't like Suicide Squad.
All of a sudden they didn't. I remember when that movie came out, they were like, that was better than BVS. That was pretty good. That was awesome.
We liked Wonder Woman.
Right. And now I'm thinking in 2 years, are people going to pretend that was shit too?
Right. Oh, man, women would have a fit. They can't do that.
That's what's protecting it. That's what's saving it now.
That's what we do.
Hashtag 2017.
Stop. We can't be political. Keep going. I'm not getting into this.
Along with Suicide Squad 2, Gotham City Sirens, the Joker and Harley Quinn film, Harleen Quinzel will also be appearing in a solo Harley Quinn film produced by Margot Robbie.
We knew this was going to happen. We have a quote from her. Quote, "Yeah, I've been working on it for 2 years now." She said this in an MTV interview. I mean, it's hard to kind of talk about it because all this stuff is kind of under lock and key, but I've been working on a separate spin-off Harley thing for a while now. I kept saying when we were shooting Suicide Squad, I was like, she needs her girlfriends. She needs other girls around her because she loves that. You see that in the comics. She loves meeting people, any people, but she needs a little girl gang, end quote.
And when asked if this was in fact the Gotham City Sirens project, because that's what it sounds like, she responded with, quote, "No, it's a totally separate one. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. I'm not sure anyone knows what's going to be the next thing, but everyone is itching to get Harley back on screen," end quote.
Of course we are. She was a great Harley.
She was awesome. As we said before, she will be the second best voice actor to Harley Quinn, right behind Arlene Quinzel. Or, I'm sorry. I mean, it might as well be.
Arlene
you can
Quinzel.
name her that. Arlene Sorkin. And some people are worrying that they will very quickly oversaturate the market with Harley Quinn. And it's like, fuck no, bring it on. Like, we're the
They've
typical.
been saying that for forever.
That's true. That's true. They have been saying that forever.
Yes.
And her shit still sells.
And they keep bringing out more stuff and we keep buying
And we keep buying it. Like, we are your example of the Harley Quinn fan base. Talk to Kelly and I. We will let you know when it's too much.
Yes.
We bitched in the New 52 version when they changed her costume completely. We didn't like it. But we came to find out that it was all aesthetic. Her core of the character was still the same. And we're still saying, give us more Harley Quinn, give us more comics, give us more in the television or movie side or whatever you want to do. And we'll be there on day one sitting in those seats.
I hope they put my song back in the movie. You don't own me. I'm not just one of your little toys. And then I can like fall over the seat and kick my feet in the air, just like she does.
But as you know, not everyone is happy with this news. Even if it's not aimed at them, maybe they're not Harley Quinn fans. But because of that, it's been a little while. We have this week's Nerd Rage Reaction!
I ran out of breath. Could you turn Super Saiyan Blue with that one, please? That would be ting! Because they just kind of like roll into it now. They don't.
So anyone confused, like, what the hell are they doing?
I'm making Super Saiyan noises. Thank you.
Nerd Rage Reaction is a comment that we find on the internet that we found particularly funny or illogical or amusing. And we're not going to give you the person's name or what article we found it on. It could be Facebook, it could be Twitter, it could be the certain news sites. But we will read this week's Nerd Rage Reaction.
Harley Quinn is way overrated. I'd rather see a standalone anti-hero Catwoman film told from Selena Kyle's perspective, where Batman is a supporting player due to their on-again, off-again romance. I'd cast Kristen Stewart as Selena. End quote. You know, I know who this is. It's one of the people who signed that petition to get Joey Whedon's cut of the
Probably.
film. Have they seen that perfume commercial with Kristen Stewart?
What's that song? Running,
where she has no emotion. She's supposed to symbolize birth.
Right.
And she has no, my child was born with more emotion.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Came out angry and crying.
Yeah, he was. He was pissed off.
He was ready to live. And I was ready to tell him immediately, like, you are dying the moment you're born.
Stop. Don't say that to my child.
He's aging.
Don't ever.
Every single second.
Don't ever let
He's aging right now.
You know what? Stop.
Everyone that's listening is dying right now.
You stop it. That's not nice. Okay, as much as I would love to see a solo Catwoman film, one, I don't think it's the time for it because I don't think that they have a good enough grasp on the character that anybody does. Because we saw that Catwoman film with Halle Berry.
You haven't seen it yet.
No, I've seen clips of it and I blocked it from my mind. So I don't think now is the right time for a Catwoman movie. I would love a Catwoman movie, but I don't think we're going to see it until she's in Gotham City Sirens or maybe makes an appearance in a Batman movie. It's going to be a little while before that happens. Second, why would you pick Kristen Stewart, of all people, to play Catwoman?
This is why I've never, again, I would never tell you who I would want cast as X character.
Right.
No one, we are shitty casting directors. The internet, everyone is a shitty casting director because you have to be.
Except for.
Because you have zero experience in actually casting a film.
Except for Andrea.
Andrea Belmont is a fucking casting director. She's done this for fucking years.
Romano.
What'd I say?
Beaumont.
That's the character that she was named after. Andrew Romano is a fucking casting director. And that's why, even though people are like, well, the way people cast other like characters is they're just like, they immediately just think of like what they look like.
Right.
Like, that guy kind of looks like Wolverine. He would make a good Wolverine. It's like, well, what would he act like? How's his acting? Would he actually fit the character? No one thinks about that. And this is why the only fucking time that worked was when people said, who can be Xavier? Well, who's the only bald guy I can think of? Patrick Stewart. Okay. He would be a good Xavier because he's bald.
Patrick Stewart could play a better Catwoman than Kristen Stewart.
Absolutely.
And I would watch the shit out of that movie. Hello. Batman. I stole these diamonds. Catch me if you can.
Engage me.
I don't know why I'm still imagining him in the wheelchair.
Like, he's not actually paralyzed.
I know. Like jumping through rooftops on his wheelchair. I don't know.
Only the mask on.
Listen, I'm suffering from sleep deprivation or something today. Shit. He has just the mask, but he needs his like Xavier outfit on too. And Batman needs to be confused about who he is.
You're making great movies right now, this episode. Like, you're improving movies. So thank you, Nerd Rage Reaction, because out of your silliness, brilliance came out.
You brought me joy. Can someone draw me Patrick Stewart as Catwoman? Please? Oh, that would make me
We'll
so
throw
happy.
that on a shirt. Just got to find an artist. Oh, man. I got a couple of more news stories to cover this week. So far, so good. Yeah. Last month, a Justice League fan Twitter account, and you can follow them at AnimatedJL, began a campaign to reunite the cast of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited for an animated project.
The account is asking fans to retweet and make themselves heard to Warner Brothers.
Cast members are on board and have been speaking on behalf of a reunion.
We're going to start off with a quote from Superman himself, actor George Newbern, who told The Hollywood Reporter, quote, "There are so many fans that grew up on Justice League on Cartoon Network that seem to want to reboot some sort of movie or limited series," end quote.
And that was followed up also by Flash actor Michael Rosenbaum, who said, quote, "Why it was prematurely canceled always baffled me. I'd be honored and grateful to be a part of any sort of reunion with all the beautiful people associated with this show," end quote.
And what would it be without Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, chiming in, who said, quote, "I'm often at Comic Cons across the country where I get to interact with the audience, and a frequently asked question is why there hasn't been a Justice League animated movie based on the animated TV series," end quote.
He'll fucking do anything. He's doing the Justice League show right now.
Yeah.
Doing a great job,
He'll
too.
He'll spoil anything, too, so just ask him on Twitter.
Finally, actor that played Wonder Woman, Susan Eisenberg, said, quote, "Well, selfishly, I'd love to explore the relationship between Bruce and Diana a bit more. And I know there are some Wonder Bat fans out there who feel the same way." End quote.
Nope,
yes.
Nope.
This should be the main fucking plot.
No.
I'm a Wonder Bat fan. No. Hashtag Wonder Bat for life.
Hashtag Cat Bat. Cat and Bat.
No.
Hashtag
Wonder Bat.
Stuart and Bat.
If I don't get my Talia Bruce, I will take my Diana Bruce.
No. What is your problem with Catwoman?
She's a criminal. That's what Batman tells her all the time.
Did you not read this week's comic book highlight?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will.
Catwoman is too aloof and unwilling to be with Bruce, whereas Diana and Talia are way more committed to Batman, as is Alfred, as is with the rest of the Bat family. So they would both fit better into his world than Selina does. No. That's my fucking problem with Selina.
No, that's not at all true.
It's absolutely true.
Let's look at what Batman needs. Does he need somebody who's super committed and going to be in his Batcave every night while he's trying to do something?
Yes, that's who he sticks with.
Doesn't.
That's who he fucking sticks with.
He doesn't need somebody who's going to be up his ass.
He needs someone that he can push away. He likes that.
Yeah, and he can push away Catwoman, and Catwoman's cool with it.
No. He never pushes away Catwoman, because Catwoman never really is there to...
She's totally there.
Nonsense.
All the time.
Nonsense. She's always running away. That's their relationship.
Yeah, and it's sweet, and that's what he needs. He needs something he can chase, but then leave alone and just be his own man when he needs to be.
He needs Diana Prince, who can take care of herself, who still loves him, who's a strong, independent character, and will care for him more than Selina Kyle.
No, Selina Kyle cares for him so much. Calm down.
He needs Talia al Ghul, who from a biological standpoint would create a better offspring than either Diana or Selina Kyle, because Damian Wayne is greater than...
I mean, Damian's pretty awesome.
Damian Wayne is... Yeah, exactly right. Greater than the Huntress. Yes, we can agree to that.
Whatever.
And I don't think Diana and Bruce had in any Elseworld story have had any kids, but I will still say Talia and Batman will make a greater kid, and they will put an end to the League of Assassins. So there's more benefits to being with Diana and with and or Talia.
But what about being both? What about being with someone both?
It's Batman. Are you kidding me?
But what about being with someone who understands the criminal underground, who understands Gotham, who went through the
Talia
same...
understands.
Talia doesn't know.
She understands the world's criminal underground thanks to Ra's.
Talia's fucking crazy. Okay?
They're all crazy.
So Catwoman understands all those things. She understands where Batman came from. She understands the city. Talia doesn't understand the city. She doesn't understand Gotham City.
Sure she does.
No, she doesn't.
She operates in Gotham all the time.
Did she live there? Is she Gotham City? Did she breathe Gotham City? Fuck no. That's Catwoman.
So Ra's al Ghul, as obsessive as he is, understands Gotham City like everyone, more than Selina probably.
No.
And he's passed down that knowledge to his offspring, which is Talia, because she is currently his successor.
No, he doesn't know Gotham City. He hasn't grown up in Gotham. He doesn't understand it.
He's grown up in thousands of cities like Gotham because he is thousands of years old.
You could learn everything there is to know about, let's say, France, Paris. Go ahead and learn everything there is to know about Paris and live in there. Is it the same as having grown up there and really understanding it? No.
But if I grew up in tons of cities like Paris, then it would be the exact same thing.
No, but it's not. No, it's not the same thing.
And he has Lazarus Pits in Gotham. You tell me he's lived in Gotham for more years than Selina Kyle has with all of his fucking Lazarus Pits. And that is a fact.
Whatever. Selina Kyle is better for Batman than anybody else, and I will fight you. This is, I'm going to be on my deathbed, and you're going to be, Daniel, I have one last thing to say after many years together. And you're going to be like, oh, what is it? I love you so much. And I'll be like, Catwoman's better for Batman, bitch. And that's going to be the last thing I'm going to say to you. And you're going to have a tear in your eye.
I'll be like, she was so wrong in life.
That's not what you're going to say. You're always going to remember that.
Chime in, Brocats. Let us know. Are you Team Wonderbat, Team Catbat, or Team Talia Bat?
No, that doesn't even rhyme. That doesn't even make sense. No.
Fine, you name a better one.
It'd be Bat Al Ghul. But...
Bat Al Ghul, that's amazing. Hashtag Wonderbat, hashtag Catbat, hashtag Bat Al Ghul.
Oh my god.
Nicely done.
I'm just on a roll today.
You're on a roll.
Can you just put up a poll? They can vote in the poll.
Will you accept the result?
Hell no.
True? Well, then,
unless it's Catbat.
So final news story. According to CNBC, final talks are taking place for Disney to acquire 21st Century Fox.
Like I said they would. 21st Century Fox is reportedly aiming to focus on its news and sports division.
Fox's assets are estimated to have an enterprise value of over $60 billion.
Disney is also in talks now to buy the world for trillions of dollars.
They probably already own it.
So if this deal goes through, Disney... I always joked, BT dubs, remember when they're making those quarters of the states?
Yes.
They didn't put Disney. They didn't put Walt Disney World on that quarter. They had an orange and a rocket ship. And even my 9-year-old self, because these came out when I was 9, I remember vividly. I said to myself, well, Disney owns all of Florida, so why don't they just put Disney on there? But whatever. Okay, so if this deal goes through, Disney would own film assets to X-Men, Fantastic Four, Titanic, The Sound of Music, Aliens, Predator, X-Files, Planet of the Apes, Independence Day, The Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, Ice Age, Die Hard, Home Alone, Futurama, R.L. Stein's Goosebumps, Kingsman, James Cameron's Avatar, and much, much more. Everything.
All for the price of, I want to see Wolverine in the fucking big screen with the event. I want to see them make a better Fantastic Four movie. It's like the fucking payoff and the trade-off is not fucking worth it, guys. It is not worth it. The creative freedom that is suddenly limited when and if this deal goes through is ridiculous. It is stupid. Like this deal.
Family Guy alone.
If you don't give a shit about the art that is movies or the enterprise that is even the business of cinema, then you don't care. Then by all means, be all rooting because you can see your version of Fantastic Four that won't be fucking relevant 20 years from now.
Right.
But the result will be felt for fucking way longer than 2 decades. This is Disney owning massive fucking properties, and the only big player in the game after this would be Warner Brothers. It's not going to be Universal. It's not going to be Paramount. It's going to be Warner Brothers, and that is it. Against fucking Disney, that is fucking bananas. It is not cool. It is not worth the fucking asset. It's not worth the acquisition. This isn't good for art in general.
Mm-hmm. You should sing the Gwen Stefani song.
Which one? Did she sing about this?
She sang about bananas. This shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
But that's a happy tone. Like, I'm angry.
This shit is bananas.
I'll get Kevin Conroy to, this shit is bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S. No, Batman.
Not a good thing. What
No,
are your thoughts?
It's not. I absolutely agree. You had, I saw you're having a conversation about how Paramount, Touchstone is also owned by Disney.
Correct.
But does other things.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris about that.
But yes, it's still limited. Just like this will be limited.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to, at the end of the day, it's all going to come back to Disney. It's all going to come back to the Disney brand, the Disney look, what Disney's putting out. Yeah, sure, they could put out an R-rated Deadpool, but now people are going to say, oh, but it's Disney now.
And the other thing, too, and people don't believe me on this shit. They don't believe me, and I'm telling you, a movie like Old Man Logan would not have fucking flown through Disney. Mm-mm. And if you think like, well, it would have been done through Touchstone. Okay, it would not have been in fucking Avengers. They would not have mixed those two fucking properties. It could have been in the same universe, and you can say, oh, there's evidence that it would. Sure. And just like Chris brought up, well, the Defenders are a mature. Yeah. You don't see any fucking Defenders on the big screen. Mm-mm. You don't see Jennifer Jones with Captain America or with Daredevil. They're keeping that shit separate. Right. And that's the Disney machine. A movie like Old Man Logan would have never existed. Mm-mm. So count your fucking lucky stars that we got something like that at all, because we're not going to get that again with superhero movies under Disney.
Absolutely. And what else are we going to lose moving forward? Because again, they're not going to, and I mean, maybe it's better for Warner Brothers. Maybe Warner Brothers is going to get all these pitches now and say, yeah, go ahead, move forward with those. Let's get these movies out here, the good ones.
That's a wasted opportunity. You're right. Warner Brothers better get on that shit and say, if they're not going to make, now we don't have 20th Century Fox doing the X-Men movies as they have been. Why don't we make our own like that? Why don't we make our R-rated fucking movie that does connect with the DCEU? And because they're not going to be doing it. If Disney's not doing it, we'll fucking do it. We'll make money. There's money to be made, just like in Deadpool and Old Man Logan. That's what's going to happen. And when you do see Wolverine in the Avengers, when you see Hugh Jackman return for Infinity War, get ready for fucking comedian Wolverine. Yeah. He's going to be making jokes left and right, just like the rest of those movies. Just like fucking Justice League was, and just like Thor was. So if that's what you fucking want, then I hope you're happy, because enjoy the 10 or 20 years of whatever the fuck is going to happen with this. And then I guess be oblivious to the rest of the estranglement of expression that will happen with all of these properties moving forward under Disney.
What kind of Frozen short do you think we're going to get in the beginning of these movies?
Oh, we're going to get a fucking Frozen short in front of every one of these fucking movies. Absolutely right.
Olaf being the different Avengers characters.
Oh, it'll be so funny. Yeah. It'll be so clever.
Yeah.
It'll be, and he'll fart snowballs, and everyone will think it's so funny. And Fuck, man. No one understands because they all want to see. Well, I just want to see, but can we just get the Human Torch with like, it's fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Did you see? I don't know if it was clickbait because I didn't click on it, but apparently Chris Evans wants a Captain America Human Torch crossover where he plays both of them.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Good for him.
It's silly. Like I'm still like, this is not worth it.
No.
And Alex, Purple Swordfish, talked about it when he was on too. He's like, this worries me. It's like you should be. Everyone should be fucking worried. The potential, the negative outcome of this. And I'm not even going to say potential because again, this is going to be under the Disney brand. That's that many properties that they're now going to own for the film division is already skewed towards the negative when you look at this as a medium. It's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. And if this were EA, buying a whole brand and chain of video games, you bet people would be freaking out as they should with this fucking deal.
It's going to happen. This deal is going to go through. We all know it is. So let's not pretend that it's not going to happen.
This is what everyone fucking wanted.
And we will cross our fingers that it won't be as bad as we think it's going to be.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. It's gonna be terrible.
All
in exchange for a mediocre Fantastic Four movie.
Let me ask you, okay, which would be worse, this deal or Kristen Stewart as Catwoman?
Just not this deal, because that's one fucking movie, and this is going to be a whole slew of mediocre to shitty movies out of the 5 good ones that'll come out of it.
I wonder if there's now going to be an Avengers theme park. Marvel theme park. You think they do that?
What's that have to do with Fox?
Because it's Disney.
The deal. Universal still owns the rights to the theme parks. Like this is all film. Like film divisions, film rights.
Oh, it's only a matter of time.
I don't know. This has me incredibly upset. But that is our final news story.
Yes.
Let's go into something more happier.
Happy.
That is the supporters, the Brokehead Core, the Patreon shout-outs of the week.
Our first shout out goes out to Neil, who is at Inmats68.
He recently showed off some old school Justice League wrapping paper.
Cool.
Looked amazing. Put up the whole video on Twitter.
That's
Again,
awesome.
That's Inmats68.
I'm assuming that he's not using that wrapping paper.
Only for the most special of people.
It's just
otherwise,
there.
It should just.
I mean, wrapping paper is bad for the environment, so.
Or he bought extras.
Oh.
He's going to reuse it next year. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, that's what we should do. Like when people open the gift, be like, can I get that back? I need that.
Don't be judgmental, Kelly.
And our next and final shout out goes out to John, who is John72Tex.
That's on Twitter again, at John72Tex. He's been showcasing his new comic book day haul on Instagram, and his Instagram handle is at Johnny2Chips. So that's JOHNNY, the number 2, CHIPS.
What kind of chips?
I don't know. That's a good question to ask. I never asked
chips,
them.
Pringle chips.
They're all good.
Tortilla chips.
There's no negative chips.
I'm sure there's negative chips.
Chip on your shoulder? That's
there
still beneficial.
Go. No, it's not, because you're angry at things.
For a reason, something you'll never forget.
What about like putting chips in golf?
I'm Mexican.
Golf.
I don't understand what that means.
Golf.
¿Qué
es? ¿Qué es?
¿Qué es eso? Chingaderas. Tell them what chingaderas is. Because unless you know a Mexican, you don't know what chingaderas means.
I know. Chingaderas are little fucking things, like little useless things.
Correct. So like
ornaments with your child's face on it. That's a chingadera.
That's a chingadera, yep.
Anything I bought for the baby, you consider your chingadera.
Non-essentials.
So, right. His swing. Is his swing not an essential?
It's not a chingadera now.
Okay.
I agree. It's not a chingadera.
Thank you.
Funko Pops are a chingadera.
Yes.
That's a good example.
We do have a lot of those. Like lawn ornaments, those would be chingaderas.
Oh yeah, chingaderas.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Chingaderas.
Christmas lights, chingaderas.
Oh no, I like Christmas lights.
Non-essential.
What about my Christmas tree? Is that a chingadera?
Yeah, it's a chingadera. Like, there's a fine line though. It's not just strictly everything non-essential. It's like, this is really like, that's a fucking little piece of shit thing. What's another one? The shelf on the elf. That's a chingadera.
The elf on the shelf?
I don't know what it
is. The shelf on the elf. Have you seen the trooper on a pooper? Yeah, that's a thing.
What's that chingadera?
It's a stormtrooper, and you put him on the toilet, and you call it the trooper on the pooper.
And we own chingaderas too, so we're not judging.
We do. We own lots of chingaderas.
But that is, now you know what that means.
Yep. There you go.
So thank you so much, Neil and John, for your Patreon support. If you would like your shout out every single month for as little as $1 a month, that equals out to 25 cents an episode, you too can get your shout out and help out the podcast. Again, all earnings go right back into the show. And because of our Patreon backers, it's easy to forget, but this long line of Patreon support has made it so that we can level out the audio through Auphonic, has made it so that we can have guests that aren't here in our recording closet with us. And that's why we were able to do the string of guest spots, which I was waiting for you to come back so you can come up with a name of what that period of guests were called. So next week, hopefully you will have come up with something. This is the first time I mentioned it to you.
This is the first time you mentioned it to me. You probably mentioned it to me before, and I was just sleep deprivation. So, so I'll think about it.
Because of our Patreon backers, these things have improved the show, and we are forever grateful to our Broke Cat Core for coming through. And that's, again, if you want to help out for just $1, go to patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke. You can also find a link at thereasonsimbroke.com. Scroll to the very bottom, you'll find a Patreon ad, and we also put it up periodically on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find the link in the show notes if you're listening on YouTube.
But of course, our podcast will always be free. Like we say every single week, the best thing you can do for us is leave us a review, a comment. Let us know what you thought of the show, what you would like to see more of, what we can improve on. The reason we do this show is for all of you. And of course, tell your friends.
And a huge thanks to decalavenue.com for the help at the $5 decal reward tier. And as we mentioned earlier, don't forget thereasonsimbroke.com. Click on merch. And if you can't support us through Patreon, you can also buy a t-shirt, and that also helps out the podcast. And finally, the final feature we do want to remind you guys, and we do want more participation on, is our SpeakPipe link. And that is in the show notes, no matter where you're listening to this on. And this is a link in which you can chime in with your own audio feedback, question, comment, and we may include it in the show, 90 seconds or less. If you have something to say about something we covered on today's show or something you saw online, send it over to us through speakpipe.com/thereasonsimbroke, and you can submit an audio link there.
You know what I want? I want someone to leave us a message about why Catwoman is the best for Batman in 90 seconds.
I want someone to say why she's not the best for Catwoman or for Batman in the 90 seconds or less.
No, because it's not possible.
You got to choose a favorite now, listeners. Choose a side, mommy or daddy.
That's what we're going to make Leo do. Who do you like better, Leo? Remember who birthed your giant head.
So remember who you look like, who gave you these genes. And let's head into our comic book highlight for the week.
This week, it's Batman Annual number 2, written by Tom King, who is amazing, with art by Lee Weeks and Michael Lark, and the colorists are Elizabeth Bridweiser and June Chung. Look at the irony. What is this book about?
It is about the very first encounter between Batman and Catwoman, as written by Tom King, who loves the relationship. He is on Team Batcat.
And we love Tom King for this.
It's a good issue. You can tell good stories with things you disagree on. And this is something I tweeted out to Tom King. I said, I disagree on the Selena-Bruce relationship. And I put in parentheses Talia Bruce.
No.
But this issue made me cry, and it did. And I read it before you. And you cried more during the Silver Surfer than this issue.
Okay, but let's also specify, how pregnant was I during Silver Surfer?
If this story were as good as it is, and it is.
No. How pregnant was I during Silver Surfer?
Was it like 8 months?
Like 8.5 months. It was right before I gave birth. Now, let me ask you, what kind of hormones are in a woman's body when they're 8.5 months pregnant?
Could not tell you.
A lot. You cry at everything. So I was more composed. And you also told me I was gonna cry, so I was expecting it.
Am I better off not telling you?
Yeah. Okay. Because then I'm surprised.
You saw me tearing, though.
I did, and I did cry in this too. It was a great story from beginning to end.
Yeah, it is a love story between Selena and Bruce, and it goes through their very first encounter. They set up, Tom King, as he does, and as you should, as a good writer, sets up a pattern that you will call back on at the end of the story, which is them in the future, and how Bruce, and spoiler if you haven't read Batman Annual number 2, but it's all kind of fantasy, because you don't really know if this is going to happen. It's kind of like a what-if story. but how Bruce ends up saying goodbye to Selena and how this relationship ends up ending. And it's kind of like the Inner Light. They remember something like she says to Picard, don't forget to put away your shoes. You never put away your shoes. And that was always the ongoing thing as they got older. And then they do something like that in the Bruce and Selena story.
I don't know that I want to spoil this for anybody because it was very good. If you're a fan of Batman and Catwoman, you absolutely have to get this issue. You have to get the Tom King run because he's done great things with the characters that I've just been waiting for forever.
Things that are out of character for Bruce. Yeah.
No. It's okay. Let's let Tom do his thing. But this was great. Like you said, it's a very sweet story. It follows them from their first encounter to their last. And you see how that relationship kind of evolves through snippets. And you see what they really mean to each other and what they do for each other and why they're the best together and why she's better for Bruce than anybody else in the whole world.
What was it like? Are you here to take care of me? No, I'm not here to take care of you. But they embrace, but they are taking care of each other. Like,
right. But they can't know that. They have to feel like they're doing it on their own. See? And that's why they're great. That's why he doesn't need somebody sitting in a Batcave. Because what would Talia and Wonder Woman do? They would take care of him. And that's not what he wants. That's
not what Tom King's Batman wants. My animated series Batman did not kiss Selena Kyle. Is this not true Batman?
Your animated series Batman needs to be with Andrea.
Agreed.
Andrea or no dice.
But if not Andrea, who was the other distinctive option? It was Talia al Ghul.
And that is it for our show this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Anyway, moral of the story is this was a great book. This was my favorite book of that week. Of this week.
Will this be up for a Breisner?
Yes, I think it should be up for Breisner. I think Tom King should be up for a Breisner. I think, you know what I want for the holidays? I want a Tom King story with Dustin Winhart.
Please, yes.
I would explode. Also, Dustin Winhart, I want you to come to my house and paint on my child's door. That is what I want.
Just do it.
Does he listen to the show? Sometimes he listens to the show, right?
I'm not sure.
Listen, Dustin Win.
I haven't asked him.
Do this.
I always feel like that'd be like selfish. Like, you listen to our show. I don't know. Like, it just wanted to be
Dustin Win,
it comes up.
If you listen to the show, tweet me, #yes or #no. If you're going to come paint a mural on my... I can't pay you. I'm the reasons I'm broke. I can't give you money.
Let her know either way at Kelli on Twitter.
But it would make me happy. I'll sing for you.
So, yeah, as you mentioned, the good story is a good story. Even though I disagree with what this relationship is, I can recognize the good story for what it is. And it is an awesome comic. And it would be our pick of the week, as we used to do. And it is it probably will be up for a Breisner Award. I don't know if it'll win. We have to consider all of our options.
No, it already won.
This book is out of print. It's a speculator book because it went up in value immediately as it released. But I even had a speculator asking me, like, so, why is this going up in price? Why are people seeking it? And I'm like, there's no first appearance. There's no death of a character. The story really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It is a well done story. People want this because they want to read it. It's not a new character introduction. It's not the death of an ongoing character that's currently going on in the book. It is just a great story that people want to read. And those are the best buys. Those are the best comics. And those are the best reasons why something goes out of print and goes out of sale.
Oh, I thought you were going to say those are the best reasons to be broke, and I was going, I see what you did there, but you let me down. I
wasn't the clever one this episode. It was you.
It was all me.
You carried it.
It was all sleep deprivation and 2 cups of coffee. That's what I got.
So there you have it, everyone. This is The Reasons I'm Broke episode for the week. Thank you again for tuning in for this week's episode and for sharing the show with someone else who might enjoy it out there. So far, we've had an amazing 2017. It's been our top 10 most downloaded months for the show's history. I think, what we say, like 7 of them or 6 of them all took place in 2017. So this has been our best year of the podcast and downloads. And that's all thanks to you for tuning in every single week. That's thanks to you for sharing the podcast with your friends or family. And that's because of you that we continue this going.
So definitely hit us up on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke, at Kelli. Let us know what made you broke this week. Let us know, like we say every week, what you liked about the show, what you want to see more. Just interact with us. Leave us a voicemail with why Catwoman is better for Batman. But thank you all once again for tuning in.
I'm Aquaniel.
Okay, you're going to stick with that? That makes me happy. Only for this show. It's gone now, right?
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. And I am your Emperor Kelli.
We'll see you next week.